was a drummer.
Is that right?
Which is amazing to me. Didn't she know how well she sang?
She did, but I'd heard stories through the years that Bing Crosby always thought of himself as a golfer who sang. Karen, for as much as she loved to sing, and it was inborn, obviously.
You ever hear a voice so pure, so perfect? It doesn't just hit your ears, it stops time? That was Karen Carpenter, a voice soft as silk, strong as heartbreak, so smooth it could make the whole world quiet. But behind that angelic tone, there was a storm she carried in silence, a slow, quiet unraveling, not loud, not dramatic, but fatal. And now, for the first time, her brother Richard is opening the door to everything they tried to keep hidden. The silence is finally breaking. Karen Carpenter didn't just die too young. She died unheard. She was born March 2nd, 1950. New Haven, Connecticut. Sweet, polite, gentle, second born, second place. Her brother Richard, he was the chosen one. From the start, their mother Agnes poured all her pride into him. She called him a prodigy, encouraged his music, protected his space. Karen, she tagged along, quietly. And when she spoke, it was often with a laugh or a lowered voice. She didn't rebel, she adapted. Her father Harold was the quiet force. He loved music, all kinds, soul, jazz, classical. His vinyl collection ran deep, and it became the hidden gold mine that both kids pulled from. Richard took to piano early, showing brilliance that stunned adults. Karen, she wasn't seen as the talented one. She loved listening more than performing. Until high school changed everything. Trying to dodge gym class, Karen signed up for band. She picked the drums, not because she had a dream, but because it felt different. What she found was rhythm, precision, control in a world where she often felt unseen. And when Richard finally heard her sing, really sing, he stopped in his tracks. That soft, haunting voice, it was lightning and velvet. They formed a trio, played jazz clubs, made demos, got signed, got dropped, came back, and then they longed to be close to you. A song other artists had tried and failed to turn into a hit until Karen sang it. Suddenly, that quiet girl behind the drums was front and center, and the world couldn't get enough. The Carpenters became everywhere. TV specials, magazine covers, radio airwaves flooded with her voice. And while millions felt comfort in her songs, Karen was quietly unraveling under pressure no one saw. The smiling face on the album covers was fighting a battle behind closed doors. It started small. One magazine article pointed out that Karen looked a little heavy in a photo. A cruel line, one careless opinion, but it stuck. Karen dropped 10 pounds. The compliments rolled in. She dropped more. And soon the chase for thinness became an obsession she couldn't escape. She was 5 feet 4 inches, and by the mid-1970s, she weighed just over 90 pounds. And still, she was on stage, performing, smiling, fading. No one said the word, anorexia. Back then, it wasn't in headlines, wasn't in health books, wasn't understood. But Karen lived it. Every skipped meal, every pill, every secret. She wore layers of clothing to hide her shrinking frame, kept up appearances, kept recording, kept denying it, even to herself. Richard, meanwhile, was quietly drowning in his own struggle, addicted to sleeping pills to cope with the anxiety and stress. The golden duo was crumbling under a glittering facade, but they kept showing up, because the show had to go on. In 1980, Karen thought she'd finally found peace. She married Thomas Burris, a real estate developer who promised her everything she'd wanted: a home, love, a family. But just before the wedding, he told her the truth. He'd had a vasectomy. He couldn't have children, and hadn't told her until it was too late. Karen wanted to cancel the wedding, but her mother said no. The invitations were out. The family was gathered. It would be too embarrassing to stop it now. So she went through with it, and it broke her. The marriage spiraled fast. He spent her money. He belittled her. And in private, there were reports of emotional and even physical abuse. Karen filed for divorce less than a year later, but the damage had already been done. She was spiraling deeper, taking as many as 90 laxatives a night, using thyroid pills to accelerate weight loss. Her body was breaking down from the inside. Finally, she reached out for help, checked into a treatment facility in New York, worked with Dr. Stephen Levenkron, a leading voice in eating disorder recovery. And for a moment, it seemed like she might make it out. But there was one last wound, one she carried since childhood: her mother. During a family therapy session, the doctor told Agnes Karen needed love, support, encouragement. Agnes sat silent, cold, and Karen, already fragile, was shattered by the one thing she never got: her mother's warmth. In September 1982, doctors started Karen on intravenous nutrition. Her weight finally began to climb, but her body, so depleted for so long, couldn't handle the shift. She had been starved for years, and now her heart couldn't keep up. On February 4th, 1983, Karen collapsed in her parents' home. She was taken to the hospital, but her heart had stopped. She was gone, just 32 years old. Her brother Richard was devastated, but he picked up the pieces, preserved the music, released her long-shelved solo album years later, told the truth, piece by piece, and when asked what went wrong, he didn't blame one thing. He said she was under pressure from our family, from the industry, from herself. By the time we understood, it might have been too late. Karen Carpenter's story isn't just sad, it's haunting. It's a warning that the most beautiful voices are often the ones hiding the most pain. She was elegance, she was grace, she was truth in a melody. But the world didn't just lose her. We lost what she could have become if someone had listened sooner. So now, we listen, not just to her voice, but to her story.